Sure, you can have the iPod. Only because you turned off your weird boy soap opera. So, we touch on this bit ever so carefully and briefly, and I guess tactfully, but I think it could use a bit more explanation. Fucking blessed Father Einstein, the 80s were completely just rapey. Our study today will be on the titular, titillating college screwball comedy Laugh 'Em Up, Revenge of the Nerds, setting aside Ogre and the multitudes of wanton simple battery he commits without care. Also setting aside the fact that his introduction to us is such a blind blackout fury at the mere sight of a Poindexter or, God forbid, a booger, that countless innocent scoliosis-ridden teens with 100-pound backpacks were inundated with machismo-laden cries of nerds for uncomfortable lengths of time. No, today we discuss those absolute scum of the shitty shit dirt earth, the nerds. Well, what's that you say? The nerds are our underdogs? Our heroes? Our Rudies and buff guys from the original Predator all wrapped up into one? Well, I say just hold your fucking horses' bunched panties, as I count the registerable sex offenses, many constituting as felonies. Let's start with breaking into the Lambda House to install high-tech surveillance equipment for the sick, sadistic, perverted purpose of gathering together family-style to spy on the innocent and unsuspecting young ladies within. Without second thought or consideration for how it would feel to have a clandestine cadre of deviant touch their naughty bits whilst focused solely upon the sexy bits you've taken care to own and hide away from society. To then make physical proof of their misdeeds available to anyone with a buck and the brain not to eat a pie tin filled with shaving cream. That goes far beyond voyeurism and rests firmly in the territory of sociopathy. Without a care, but absolutely with a buck-toothed grin and a honking moron laugh, these quote-unquote heroes of yours forcibly snatch any future sense of privacy or peace that poor hot girl would have ever felt. Forever thinking, God, I really hope there's no one secretly masturbating to a live video feed to me right now, yet never knowing the absolute truth concerning the situation. The situation of just wanting to be able to have nude pillow fights with their closest friends without all those icky penises getting in the way. Figuratively speaking, of course. But the real reason I've dragged you kicking and screaming down memory lane and past the movie Porky, and each of its diminutive sequels, is the elephant in the room, sitting right on top of your birthday cake. It's almost like when there's, 10,000 spoons when all you need's a knife. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? No, Alanis, I don't think it's ironic. 10,000 spoons when a single knife would do the perfect job is a coincidence at best. But it is absolutely not ironic. Fuck. Don't even get me started on the whole rain on your wedding day thing. That shit right there is just a product of bad planning and a subconscious desire to stay the swinging bachelor that you see staring lustfully and wistfully at you from the other side of the mirror. Anyhow, what I 100% completely and rationally intend to bring to light is the fact that our hero of heroes, nerd of nerds, Louis Skolnick, lies in wait, crouched in the darkest crevice allowed to him, his heart filled to the brim with the animal lust that he insists he has no understanding of. He's transforming into the thing that he hates most. He's like a cocksucking version of lycanthropy, where instead of a badass werewolf, he's changed into a vile, weakness-hating jock. He dons his mask, this time both literal and figurative, and bides his time, like a spider, just waiting to rape another spider. Waiting for the object of his obsession to innocently enter the funhouse with designs for alone time with her man, only to let her think she was completing the intended course of coitus unimpeded. He finishes his nerdy dirty deed and smugly celebrates his conquest with his fellow conspirators. But, is it just me? That motherfucker just raped that chick. Really. I was alive in the 80s and I don't remember that shit ever being cool. That's just... Call the fucking cops. Just still, now, today, on the actor for taking the job in which he played a guy that raped a chick. Fuck, man. My heart hurts.
Bada bing, bada boom.
All right, so Chris is Italian today.
Hey, you know.
That's a spicy set of balls.
And, you know, I try to give it some flavor here and there.
All right.
Over here.
Spicy ball flavor. So we're going to probably keep the opening banter to a minimum here today because, we just talked on the phone for 45 minutes before we hit record, and frankly, I'm getting a little tired of Chris.
Yeah, I wish some of that shit that we went over though was being recorded, and oh well, maybe we'll give him a little quick summary of what it was when we start getting into it.
Let's see. I was talking about my family for a little while, in very flattering terms. We talked about that Marvel Match 3 game that Chris has goaded me into playing.
Yeah, not that part either.
Talked about... What else did we talk about?
Well, we talked
Your
about...
cat took a shit, and you emptied that.
Yeah.
Oh, we talked about how fucking metal it would be if we got your cat a fucking tiny little bed of nails to sleep on.
Yes, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we did. And another driver the other day was talking to me about fucking learning how to knit so he could knit himself some fluffy boxers with with the ass flap, you know, and I don't know how that's relevant at all.
You are not quieting America's fears of truckers.
All right. Well, I mean, look, sometimes when it's like -17 in the middle of motherfucking nowhere, you kind of want something to keep your buns from touching that toilet seat. I'm trying to tell you.
Welcome to another riveting episode of See No, Hear No, Speak No.
UFOs, conspiracies, ass flaps, and murder.
That's right. And I'm Jason Rambo. What do you know?
What the fuck do you know? I'm Chris Barrios, and
lies, all lies,
Italian.
all lies.
We try. I can't keep up with all my lies anymore.
So, Chris,
yes.
And people out there, I still don't know what the fuck this episode's about.
No.
Chris did say he wanted to kind of flip the program today, and so the most that I know is that instead of Chris relaying a narrative to me and us jacking off about it, he wants to have somewhat of a roundtable discussion, although there's only two of us, so it would be more of a maybe like a card table. We'd sit at that right across from each other. But as much as Chris and I have in common, best believe we are both very singular, unique thinkers that have different views on the shit that we like. So
indeed.
This should be a fun time. So, Chris?
Yes, sir.
Take it away.
Well, you know, there's no specific time and place for any of this. There's no somebody meets this person and blah, 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 and gets whacked in the nugget and sees a UFO and all this fucking crazy shit. This is a discussion of a different color. And like I said, it's not going to be a huge difference, I don't think, you know, in the format of what we're doing here. It's just that this particular subject is so massively fucking huge that there's no way I could encompass it all.
Oh, wait, Chris,
3 or 4 episodes.
Oh my God, Chris, my producer has broken into the feed into my earpiece, and I've just heard that President Kennedy has been shot and assassinated.
Oh no!
And that's Jason's random bullshit corner. Beep 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 beep. Time of death 2:05.
I think we can continue with our lives. It's a tragedy.
It's a national tragedy.
Don't let me downplay it at all.
No.
But I think the country will continue.
Pick it up by its bootstraps, man.
So, that being the case, this week's episode is on transhumanism.
Like transhumans?
Yeah.
Like the people that Trump's trying to keep out of bathrooms?
No. That's well, I mean, similar. Yeah, in a way, similar. So by definition, and this is not verbatim, but by definition, transhumanism is improving the human body on using science and technology to improve the human body. I don't know why the fuck I was just stumbling all kinds of crazy shit.
Are we talking cyborgs?
We're talking a lot of stuff here, dude. This is why I'm saying there's no way I can encompass it all.
I think we know my view on cyborgs, Chris.
Yeah. You and I have had a brief discussion on that, and but they weren't, the kids weren't around for it. So now we have to clue them back into our standpoints on certain things. But this, like I said, this subject is fucking massive. So what we're going to do is just poke and prod at some of the basics and just little bits and pieces here and there. And then if anybody else wants to hear us do something more specific on the subject, we can I'd be happy to, because I love this subject. I am one of these. And, yeah. So
very cool. Yes.
Yeah, so using science and technology to improve the human condition. Let's put it more broad in general and just say the human condition. Human condition is all kinds of fucking crazy shit, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's endless. We're all kinds of things, and we're all and we're short in a lot of ways. Freaks
of nature, yes.
Yeah, but as much potential as we may have, as we do have, we're still without this type of, in my mind, in my opinion. I'm gonna try to keep it. Let me saying that when it is so. In my opinion, this kind of stuff is necessary and is inevitable, and it I don't know, the way I'm seeing it is that it's just the inevitability of how math works. You know what I mean? Answering the questions of the universe brings you to more questions. Well, the more and more you answer, the more you figure out, the more you can use that information to benefit what? Ourselves.
Humanity, yes.
Right. So, I mean, it's endless, but it's another one of those unfathomable things, because even though science fiction has produced or has given us ideas that we have now made reality.
That's right. Your cell phone was just a tricorder from Star Trek.
There you go. Cell phone is a huge leap of technological advancement for us.
That's what you get when you steal technology from the aliens.
Well, shit, like we were saying, our conversation before recording was about, fucking watching porn on dial-up and shit like that, and how that was, the wave of the fucking future.
Oh, yeah.
This was unheard of 10 years before that, or 2 years.
It'd be a fucking pain in the ass now, but back then, ooh, what a wonderful pain it was.
I mean, these things were, just realizing the potential and how quickly things have advanced brings me to one of the main points that I don't know. Is it a problem? Is it okay? So let me say, the technological singularity. You know what that is?
I mean, by context, I can make an idea.
Okay. So, the technological singularity is basically just that it's just going to keep advancing.
Well, I mean, technology doesn't just grow by leaps and bounds, especially today, because our technology has become so advanced that it grows exponentially, which is by 2, by 4, by 8, by 12, by, it just keeps. There's no stopping the growth, and there's no slowing down of the growth. Although there is some stagnation,
sure, there's little plateaus here and there,
but that's mostly just capitalists wanting to make money before the next bigger thing stops them from making as much money as they can on the thing that's out now. It's between stuff like that and
lobbyists fucking telling us we shouldn't do that because God wouldn't like it, and stuff like that, putting halts on at the advancement and the testing on such advancements.
Can we just clone people already, for fuck's sake? God won't care. Man, God will not care. I promise you. God put us here to be the best humans we can be, and if the best humans we can be is growing other humans in test tubes, growing perfect humans in test tubes, why are we wasting our time with sex? Chris, go.
Let's put a pin in that right there. And we're going to put a pin in the singularity. I just wanted to give the simplest of definitions to that, because we are going to come back to that. So yes, exactly. It's that it improves exponentially and quicker as time goes on into the unforeseeable fucking vast fucking, infinite future, and all the things that could come along with it that we have no idea how to grasp at this point.
How could
and the
we?
Funny, well, exactly. But the best part is that science as a whole encompasses everything. So
literally everything is science.
Exactly. So questions that we don't even know to ask yet, that that we're catching up on as technology pushes us forward, and they open doors for each other. They push each other to their plateau while the other one, climbs above real quick and then opens up more doors. And it's a weird little.
Well, like you said previous, and maybe to put it in simpler terms, is that you need to find answers to the questions you're asking now to even know what questions you have to ask next.
Precisely. So there's the singularity. It's probably most fucking likely never going to end. Okay, and at those plateaus, the problem is that we're stuck for a little while, which is okay, but it has begun, in my opinion. It's very much so already apparent that it has begun.
Well, to the normal person, but there are places like DARPA and things like that where the technology we'll see come out in the next 20 years is already developed and waiting to be perfected, and and things like that. So, I mean, I'm not talking like lifelike anime sex bots yet, but I'm not saying it.
Well, I mean, we're definitely gonna poke more and prod more into
lifelike anime sex bots, please.
The digital sex, the options and the possibilities, because as fucking the ridiculous animals that we are, everything is either sex or killing each other.
Well, that's because we just need to stick our dick in any and everything.
Well, that's a problem that we're also going to get into. So let's break it down and say the two main things that transhumanism is about is that it looks it looks at the current trends in technology and then postulates the future of technology. Right?
Can I just say real quick that I've always hated the word postulates?
Why?
It sounds too much like pus.
Oh, well, okay.
Can we say thinks about instead?
All right, so there we go. So yeah, it looks at the current trends in tech and thinks about the possibilities of future tech, and tries to, if you stop the pattern and just sit on stuff for a little while, then we go stagnant, and we never do that. So it continues.
Here's a quick little question for you. There is stagnation necessarily a bad thing, or can stagnation be used as a time for real leaps in technology? You know what I mean? Can stagnation be used as a time where the desperate for the better get better at making it?
Well, of course it can. Of course it can. With the proper strategy, of course it can. You gotta think about it like, your computer games or your fucking cell phone games and shit. You have all these different things. My cell phone games. So you have all these things that you can upgrade, but you only have a certain amount of money and you only have a certain amount of resources. But yeah, you have to progress in everything to make your team stronger or your village stronger, whatever the fuck game you're playing. So, but the question is, the strategy of what to do first, and then the pattern of what's going to make things run more smoothly for you and make your game more enjoyable.
It's straight up grinding. It's grinding.
It is. It's grinding and farming and fucking, fucking going out there and killing 1,000,010 little fucking weak ass monsters so you can get the points together to go and upgrade your sword or some shit.
And let's go ahead and equate that to scientific research. You have grinding and farming. You get to that fucking boss fight in, let's say, Final Fantasy X, and you're just like, I keep dying every time, and he keeps turning me into fucking frogs. I don't know if that's 10. That might be 7, 9, 8. I've only played like all of them for 10 minutes. So, but you're like, holy fuck, what am I supposed to do here? And you know what? I think the frog fight might actually be in Chrono Trigger. The nerds are gonna hate me on this one. So, but if you just give up on that fight for a little while and go around and fucking smash some goddamn little toadies and shit for a couple hours, you'll get back to that fight and fucking stomp them, no problem, because you have the resources. You've gained the extra knowledge and know-how, meaning experience points, and put them in this and that, and you're more prepared to answer the question of how the fuck do I stop this guy from turning everybody in my party to defenseless fucking frogs.
Yep. Exactly, and it's the strategy. So that's the point. Is like you asked. That's how you use stagnation to your advantage.
Exactly, but you have to use it to your advantage. You can't get stagnant in the period of stagnation.
Well, I believe that there are several points of our society that are hella stagnant on purpose. And it's detrimental as fuck, and it's super debilitating.
Oh, do you mean like energy production and fossil fuels?
Oh, God. To just name a few, yes.
We should be light years ahead of where we are in our energy production. We should be completely self-sufficient on renewable energy by now. We should have been completely self-renewable by the fucking 80s.
We are. They're just keeping it hidden because it doesn't make them money.
Exactly, because if you can get fucking free power from the sun, well then you no longer have to pay the power company. And
we're way ahead of that too. We're way ahead of solar panels and fucking windmills.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Oh yeah. But, I mean, they have that house that's completely powered by farts now.
Oh, that's genius.
Isn't it? I mean, I just made it up, but wouldn't that work? I'm sure it would.
That's genius, yeah. Yeah, especially like college frat houses could probably power the whole town.
Oh my god, man, yeah, just farts and puke? Just purely on farts and puke. And that one dude that burps way too much, and you're just like, go do that in the other room when you, like, I have a lady here, and like chunks fly out when you do that, and so you just hook up a fucking funnel to his face, and then
that's why they call him Chunks.
Oh man, Chunks.
Brother Chunks.
He died in an overdose about 2 years ago.
An overdose of hot dogs from a fucking eating contest.
That's
I
right.
heard.
That's right. He was up against that Japanese guy that got disqualified from the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, and and all day he was like, "There's no way I'm going to let him beat me. There's no way." But
the autopsy said his nitrate levels should have killed like 3 cows.
That's right. I mean, he shouldn't have had those 3 cows before he had all those hot dogs too, though. So
damn nitrates.
Rest in peace,
steer clear,
Chunks.
kids. Go organic. Let's make it a green planet again. So yeah, I mean, well, see, there's right there that statement, that random ass fucking banter, fucking bullshit statement. Hippie fucking. Don't get me wrong, I love them. Hippies are cool. They're my people.
That's where you and I differ, sir.
They're my people from a different time and a different life.
I like people that what's it called? Bathe.
I absolutely despise patchouli with one of the utmost passions in my life.
What's
like
patchouli?
For real. I can't describe.
I mean, in my years, I've only heard
oil.
I've only heard
oil.
patchouli reference with hippies. So I just kind of think, ooh, patchouli must just be hippie smell. But I know that's not right.
It's a scent oil. No, it's a scent oil that's derived from plants of some kind, or the patchouli plant, most likely. I don't...
I mean, do they rub it on themselves?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, but they rub a lot, like a fucking French person's nasty two-bit hooker.
Shave your pits, hippie chicks. No one wants to see that.
It's just, and they make it in incense, like the Nag Champa. It's Nag Champa and patchouli are like the two most widely sold incenses in the entire world. But I don't know if that's true. I'm just making that shit up. That's just...
Hey man, that's what we do here.
That's what I've noticed.
We present our own individual random thoughts as facts.
But patchouli's absolutely foul, and I'm sorry, I don't... Every time I smell it, it just makes me want to walk up and slap whoever's fucking wearing it, because I can pick you out of a crowd.
Absolutely.
I promise.
And white kids, cut it out with the dreadlocks. What are you, in PCU? What, is Jeremy Piven your fucking buddy? Cut it out.
God, or is a tool. I fucking love that movie, dude. I love it.
It's so bad, but it's so good.
It's terrible, but it's
so
classic.
Good.
So the other, let's get back to this. The other main point of transhumanism is to use said tech, like we were talking about, to, think about ways to bring about, greater leaps, further leaps in societal change. So, I guess it's kind of like, okay, hang on, let me try to explain this. So we were just talking about the hippies, right? And they're trying to bring on the green movement and try to make the planet green again to fix the ozone layer and all that.
And that'll
bullshit.
never happen as long as people hate hippies as much as I do. I'm just throwing that out there.
Right, and let's say that the friend of my enemy is my friend scenario. Their friend is like, the Amish and those people who don't want to use the technology to do these things, and but in the same scenario, the friend of the hippie's friend, the friend of the hippie's enemy would be transhumanism, in the sense that we're trying to bring about that same type of change in humans. And if we can do that in very many different ways, we won't be relying on, like you said, fossil fuels and all this bullshit that's destroying our fucking planet, or fucking nuclear energy, nuclear bombs, none of that shit. It's all gone. Anything that fucks up everything is fucking gone. It's as long as we put forth the effort to make it happen and not worry so much on who's making the fucking money on it. Same with the fucking war profiteers and all that type of shit. It could all be gone tomorrow.
But this is where the monkey wrench is thrown into your little plan. And that is that it's not just who's making the money off of it, but that research, getting these smart people together in a room to solve a problem cost money.
No, the problem right now is that a lot of the problems are solved. At least the problems that'll push us to the next the 3 plateaus up are already solved. It's those sons of bitches that's holding us back because they're not going to make money on it. They're not going to make fucking money for their families for the rest of the next fucking 100 generations.
What are you talking about, dude? I would gladly pay like $3,000 for a lifelike anime sex robot.
That's the problem. They don't want anybody new in their fucking circles. To be a millionaire, that's nothing to these people.
Okay, well then I would gladly pay $3,000 for a Ford-branded lifelike anime sex robot.
To change the world, though, in the different kinds of ways that I'm going to be talking about, is
I'd stop using
way
fossil
past
fuels.
Your fucking sex robots, dude.
I'd stop leaving the house. I wouldn't be burning gas anymore.
They are absolutely terrified of some of these things taking place, strictly
like the dude that made the first electric car that was basically, let's say for a better term, assassinated without us knowing for sure, and how the only prototypes of the car are in GM's property, and they refuse to let anybody see them. You guys should check out the documentary about the first electric car. It's fucking crazy.
Dude, it's the same thing with Tesla and his fucking wireless electric network for the whole world type of shit, his grid, it's the same thing with the guy
That's all because Edison was a fucking cunt.
No, it's not all because of that. It's not at all.
Will you let me have this? Will you let me have this?
Edison and J.P. Morgan and the fucking government and all this other shit. You can't have it, dude. It's not true.
You can't let me not have Edison be the main villain to Tesla. When Edison's sitting there,
the main villain for sure.
He's goddamn electrocuting elephants in the town square.
I'll give you that. He's Tesla's main arch nemesis.
Goddamn supervillain.
No doubt about it.
Stealing all his fucking ideas and making it look like he's a fucking wizard of Menlo Park. Suck a dick, Edison.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's a cocksucker of a different color for sure.
Oh, that's just like the horse of a different color from The Wizard of Oz.
Dude, I use that all the time when there's way too many things about something or someone in particular that we just can't touch on all of it. He's just of a different color, man. He's going to be. You don't even know about that guy yet.
It's very whimsical. I like it.
I've been doing that since childhood. So anyway, yeah, I mean, there's a dude who made the fucking car that ran on water. There's been all kinds of these advancements, and they get scooped up by the CIA or by the fucking NSA now, or by the FBI or whoever.
Or by private companies. Or by private companies that say, oh, we want to buy that idea, and then they buy that idea and they fucking squash it and say, no, it's ours and it can't come out now. Sorry, bye.
Dude, those people are lucky. Those inventors are lucky.
Oh, yeah, because they don't fucking disappear.
Gets to them first. Exactly. If those companies get to them first, they're stupid lucky.
Even though GM made that dude disappear, but anyway.
Dude, if you're just a normal person and the government shows up at your door and says they're interested in hiring you for a contract, leave the planet.
You tell them to go suck a horse of a different color.
No, you're not safe. Tell them you're going to show up in a month. You got to get some shit together and bounce for real.
Oh yeah, because they wouldn't be watching you, Chris.
No, of course not. But, you gotta, I don't know, go underground. It's one of those things. If you're an inventor that's on the edge of on the brink of a super,
how about this? Don't fucking tell anyone.
Go underground.
Don't
you have to tell people if it's revolutionary for the world, you gotta find a way.
No, you tell people after it's ready, and then you fucking call fucking goddamn CNN, and you fucking go to their goddamn... what do they shoot out of a warehouse? I don't know how TV works. So you go to CNN's warehouse, and you're like, this is my perpetual fucking motion engine. And then CNN's like, oh, Home Alone face, and then you're okay.
No, you may never leave the CNN building, dude, for real.
The
CIA got them too. No, you got to contact somebody like Anonymous some kind of way, and they can get it out for you.
Yeah, they'll get it out with fucking dick pics and goddamn Ariana Grande porn.
I said somebody like Anonymous. I don't fucking know, dude. I'm just saying. You have to get it out in the most covert of ways now. Because if you don't, you are dead.
But the problem is that you can never truly trust anonymity.
Of course, you can't trust anyone now. You can't,
Chris, I trust you.
You can't. If you keep it to yourself, then the world will never benefit. If you don't do something, then we're just gonna stay stagnant. It has to happen. No matter how many eggs have to be cracked to make this fucking omelet, we have to fucking. It's in the works. It's already been started, but it's not like it's still under their control. And it's always going to be under their control until something fucking serious happens.
Chris, are you insinuating that we need to start murdering people?
Dude, I knew you were thinking that I was talking about revolution, and I'm really not.
You can't say crack eggs and...
I'm too lazy to start a revolution, dude. I'm too lazy. I honestly am. I'm, whatever. If I get stuck being the leader of some kind of group, if it happens and I get stuck, whatever. I'm cool with that.
I like how you're like, whatever, I'm cool with that, when that's just like your fucking dream.
I'm not.
You're just trying to be nonchalant about it.
No. See, now, if I was, and this is another point that we're going to get into. We're not even scratch the surface. This is why I thought this episode was going to need a format change. This is exactly why, because there's no way to there's no way to cover it all. So yeah, if I was a certified genius, and I'm just talking about what we know of, let's say 10% of my brain power.
If I were a little bit taller, if I were a baller, if I had a girl who looked good, I would call her. If I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat, 6'4" and taller.
You're damn right. Mm-hmm. You're damn right. I love that song.
It's so good.
I still jam that song. Fucking Skilo. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shouts. So, But yeah, that's the thing. If I was a certified genius, perhaps I could have done way more things, and I could be the one to start the revolution.
But
sure,
that sounds
I'm
so
down.
tiring.
It sounds exhausting. That's why I'm saying I'm too fucking lazy. If I get stuck in it because somebody else does it, and I'm down to go along with his fucking plight, whatever.
So you'll be
cool.
you'll be the mindless puppet face of a revolution.
No,
you
sir.
You just don't want
sir.
any of the responsibility.
No, I'm your Heinrich Himmler style fucking run shit my way. You can appoint me as the head of this and think I'm gonna run it your way, but whenever you step in, yeah, it looks all great because we flip the fucking card tables around and shit like that with our magic bat layer. But no, fuck you. I'm running shit my way.
Can we stay away from equivalating yourself
I'm sorry,
to a Nazi?
That was the first. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm just saying that's the first person that popped into my head because he ran something huge. He was appointed to run something huge, and he did it his way.
Yeah, like a fucking
He had
dick.
all kinds of crazy shit going on that Hitler never knew about. But okay, let's stop that right there.
Yeah.
So let me touch back into the three main points. I just want to talk about the three main.
Okay.
Let's say supergroups
tenets
of transhumanism.
Right.
Are we still doing good on time?
Oh yeah, man. We're 30 in. We got time.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the three main groups, they call them the three supers, right? Okay. So they are super longevity, super intelligence, and super well-being.
And the three lesser are grain, dairy, and meat.
And digital sex.
Mm-hmm. So, super longevity, super intelligence, and what was the other?
Super well-being.
Super well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so well-being let's boil that down to like your mental and physical health.
More your mental health.
Okay, so
super longevity would be more your physical health.
Okay, fair. And then the other one was super technology,
super intelligence,
which we can we can stay away from that because I don't want a big old head, you know,
dude.
I don't want a big old veiny brain on top of my dome.
I mean, strangely, that's the easiest one to fucking touch points on. The other two are amazingly what a lot of people would think of as far-fetched.
Yeah, because that's fountain of youth type shit. And it's
exactly.
Perfect mental health for the populace, which isn't gonna fucking happen. But as far as the
that's world peace type shit.
Yeah, which would be, it'd be great, whatever. But I'm gonna be a realist here and say that yes, the super intelligence thing. I would almost go as far as to say that we have that now. I mean, this fucking goddamn supercomputer that I'm speaking to you on right now that sits in my pocket all goddamn day gives me the power of the world's collective knowledge.
Yeah, but it's still just a very crude beginning of the potential of what it could be.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, once I can pull
crude.
It up without fucking pulling the phone out of my pocket and I can just spout off geometry. Why did I say geometry? I was actually good at geometry. Let's go with...
I was good at algebra, terrible at geometry for some reason.
Let's say calculus. Once I can spout calculus off effortlessly without having to do 12 Google searches for it, then maybe so. But we are at the infant stages of the entire world having the means and access to unlimited knowledge.
Well, exactly, but that's also why it's still a taboo. Why a lot of these things are still taboo subjects, and why people just can't grasp the possibility that this is a possibility. You know,
well, a lot of people are scared of the everyman having unlimited knowge, because that means that the everyman can become a smarter man, which is why shitposting is a fucking thing, which is why some bullshit fucking post on this or that is just there for the fucking lulz isn't just annoying, it's detrimental, because it lowers the belief in the system at large. And It should, because the system at large is fucking flawed as fuck right now. But if there were a way, to prove real over false, and we could accept real over false, then we'd be on our way to the next great leap.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. I think you're absolutely right, and I think that there's a few steps that need to be made to really start the whole thing off, that are now granted giant leaps, but if we could make these leaps, there would be no more fear that I can see, but I'm a primitive mind when it comes to I'm not a fucking trained scientist. I don't have a field. I'm just a fan. You know what I mean? So I'm still very primitive on how I understand things and what I can see the potential being and shit like that. But the steps that we need to make, I believe, will eliminate a lot of the anxiety and the fear that comes along with the the distrust of, well, let's just start simple and say our fucking government.
Right.
The distrust of the fucking, let's say, the flawed brain that is 100% still animalistic. And let me touch on that and just say that, and this is part of one of the super well-being statements, is that we've not changed. Our biology has not changed in over 200,000 years. Technically, we are still animals. And then touching on one of the points of super intelligence and saying that, look, we're only technically 1% more intelligent than a chimpanzee. And a chimpanzee is basically equivalent to our toddlers.
Right.
Right? But at the same time, their babies are still more physically and mentally capable than ours are, right? But we're not even going to touch on the whole baby thing just yet. Let's talk about that 1%.
Can we never touch on babies, ever? Chris, can we make that a promise to the people that we will never touch on babies?
Poor choice of words, yes, right. yes. Okay. So we're only 1% smarter than them. Imagine how much more awesome we could be if we could step up 1%, an extra 1% on our intelligence, on our base general average intelligence, and then say how much of a biological leap we could accomplish that we haven't even touched on in over 200,000 years. We're still fucking animals, so we still see things, and that being that we still see things as an animal would. Our instincts, the way our brain still works is not really yet set up or congruent. Our manga hasn't caught up with the anime. Our anime, no, I think that I said that right the first time. It's like... No,
you said it right the second time.
The technology is already so far ahead that we can't grasp as it fucking jealous, bloodthirsty, goddamn sex crazed. All we think about is eat, sleep, shit, and survive. You know what I mean? That's our instinct still. We're animals.
But I'll tell you what I truly believe, and this is utopian bullshit I'm about to spout, but the only way that we can get that extra percent of collective human knowledge over the chimps is to value intelligence as a people.
Exactly.
Which we flat out do not. We still value the hunter-gatherer lifestyle. And as silly as that sounds, of course we're not nomads, but we are all about going out there and doing it as hard and as fast as it can be and getting more than everyone else.
Well, exactly.
Instead of saying, there's no problem solving anymore.
That's the problem.
Not even anymore. There never has been. It's always been brute force.
Exactly. That is the problem, which leads us into another one of the points of super well-being and saying, why don't we genetically modify our babies into being what we understand today as being the best humans they can fucking be? Don't we owe them that?
Well, there's a simple answer to that, Chris, and it's because God would strike us all down with his vengeance and fury.
I think that's a bunch of fucking horse shit.
Don't you?
I think that's a bunch of horse of a different color shit, to be honest.
How many colors is the horses of a different color shit?
God damn.
It's probably a bunch, right?
When it gets old and dries out and grows fuzz, it's not white or green or slightly fucking...
It's got like that oil sheen to it.
Yes,
Ooh.
yes.
Man.
That iridescent...
Put that shit on a necklace.
Look from different angles, and it's like that gangster fucking... Corvette that you see riding through the hood. Anyway, so yeah, I think if you want to, it's what it comes down to is the logical conclusions of the paths we're already on. Okay, so let's talk about let's stretch that out and talk about one of the main points of super longevity. If the whole point of medicine is to cure and heal a person to their optimal state, then wouldn't the logical conclusion of medicine to be to get the person to a state where there is no need for medicine anymore?
But Chris, how will I ever make more money if I don't have people on treatments instead of cures?
I mean, there you go, full circle. So there it is. So you got super longevity working together with super well-being and saying that if we genetically modify our babies and start that right now, then in a relatively short period of time, because we only live at this point, we only live up to 100 years or so, in a relatively short time, this world could be a whole different fucking place altogether. It could be the start of everything you've ever seen in a sci-fi movie plus 100 years, because we already have 100 years worth of technology to introduce.
But Chris,
they just haven't figured out who's going to own it yet. Who's allowed to come into the circle to own this portion of the technology to have, to be cool guy with us.
But I mean, I think a big part that you're skipping here is what's going to happen to the poor tens of people that run Big Pharma. I mean, are they just supposed to starve, Chris, for your utopia, Chris? Is that what's supposed to happen? Are the trillionaires that run the companies that make OxyContin just supposed to just lie down and die like dogs in the street because you want people to be cured?
Dude, they can lie down and die like dogs in their little fucking filthy sex dungeons at the bottom of their mansion that they keep, children in. I don't give a fuck what they do.
Dude, that's like they came out with a straight up cure for hepatitis.
Yeah.
And this cure for hepatitis costs $20,000. You know why? Because they can't charge you for treatments for your hepatitis any longer. You know how much this hepatitis medicine that they charge $20,000 to cure you costs to make, Chris?
Oh, yeah, like cents on the dollar.
Like 38 cents.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all the dollar's actually worth. So
how is that not...
that percentage, 38% of 38 cents is really what it costs.
How is that not criminal? How is that not straight up fucking criminal? No, I mean, like,
because
how is it not
one of the cool guys in the circle? That's why. That's how.
Because they have the money to pay for lobbyists.
Dude, it's way past lobbyists. It's so far. If we start getting into the dark government, and this episode will never fucking end. We'll have to change the name of the show to "We Bullshit on Transhumanism." For real.
Can we talk about the Bilderberg Group next week?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, if that's what you want to make your episode on, go for it. I mean, I'm down to talk about it. But that's, again, that's why I had to change up the format of this show. So, okay, let's throw some more shit out there.
That's not hygienic,
if you never
Chris.
die?
What happens if you never die? The world becomes overpopulated, then we have food wars, and then eventually mass death from starvation. And,
okay. Well, what do we do to prevent that?
Make it to where humans don't need food anymore.
Or ban fucking procreation. Because if we can clone,
but wouldn't
then
the world
there's
just
no
be
need for procreation?
Wouldn't the world just be boring as fuck then?
Well, okay. Well, see, there's several movies about that, and most of those movies though are based more on the government forcing us to conform to this black and white fucking ho hum humdrum fucking society bullshit, like Hunger Games type of fucking ridiculousness, right? Okay, that's not gonna happen. To me, that is not gonna happen. It's gonna take a cataclysm that destroys the planet for some type of shit like that to happen, or nearly destroys the planet. Let me say that. So this type of shit that we're talking about is more the type of shit that's inevitable. We are inevitably going to be the fucking Sky City floating, you know what I mean, type of fucking bouncing back and forth through wormholes to other planets, and that's where we're destined to be, I believe.
Well, that's where I would love us to be destined to be.
These hiccups first.
Well, but to get over these hiccups, as you call them, are more global power struggles than anything.
Exactly. But,
and how do we
once
just
we get over them, they will be notified as
over
hiccups.
Those quote unquote hiccups?
They'll be seen in history as the biggest hiccups ever, of that era.
In 2,000 years, sure.
But they will be seen as just little bullshit that we had to get over as ridiculous animals.
I don't know, man.
See the better future.
Do you consider fucking what's Alexander the Great's fucking conquest of Macedonia? Do you consider that a hiccup of history?
Hey, man. I believe anything's a hiccup if the human race continues to exist.
Okay. Can we come up with a different word for hiccup? Can we say
as horrific as they may be?
Can we call them like
speed bump?
Like let's do
speed table.
Like whoopsies. Can we do like a whoopsie?
Okay.
Sitch?
Yeah.
Okay,
that makes it more whimsical.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It lessens the threat a little bit.
Yeah, so, I believe anything to be a whoopsie that doesn't make us extinct.
That's
which there are
fair.
many possibilities. There are tons of those. We're not going to get into the possibilities of our extinction level events.
Oh, I'm sure that that you and I have lived through many on the verge of full human extinction events just because of pissing contests, which is what this whole North Korea thing is now. North Korea can't fucking wipe its own ass, much less fucking lob nukes over here.
Dude,
but
it's animal shit. It's animal shit, and I think that's where my mind is moving towards nowadays. Is that even this is fucking monkey shit, dude. We need to be so much further along, and that's what I was saying about the first steps that we need to take. I believe that super intelligence. And not seeing it through, not putting all our resources into seeing it through to its inevitable end, which we're going to talk about its inevitable end. Right? Exactly, thanks to the singularity. But really, its inevitable number one plateau, which is not a plateau at all. I'm just saying, let's say it's our first and main goal as the animals that we are. Once we hit this goal, it will help us see into the future as something way more than animals. But I'm not even talking about taking it to that fucking step yet. What I'm talking about is we need to advance ourselves to the point of intelligence to see past the need.
Yes.
The need for this bullshit that has us doing this fucking ridiculous pissing contest.
Well, hey man, that's why I drive a sports car. I need everybody to know that I got a tiny dick.
I was gonna say, I thought that was because you lost one of your testicles in a punk concert.
No, I was touched once in a punk concert, but it's still there.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't a pleasant touch. Let's not, get the story.
Kind of like that nick you suffered earlier today.
Man, just like you know what a thwap is, right? When you like whip your fingers at somebody. Yeah, goddamn thwapped myself in the right. Oof.
It could have broke the sound barrier if you had trained like Goku to do such things.
The sound I made did. The sound came out my mouth. I didn't hear it for 4 seconds. It was great.
That's amazing. Sonic boom on your right nut. So I mean, see now, if you had, let's go into.
If I had Android nuts, it wouldn't have mattered.
There you go, brother. Let's go into cyborgs. Now, cyborgs to me, I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so down. But at the same time, I can see clearly that being a cyborg is like owning a cell phone. It's the crudest. It's the next step. You know, it's still crude. We're still moving towards.
Can we all just please agree never to be floating balls of energy?
Well, man, it is. That's possible.
But where's the fucking fun in that, Chris?
Well, you don't know yet, do you? We don't know. But we have no idea. It could be interdimensional. Once you reach the stage of pure energy, like Akira did, you know, you're interdimensional.
Akira was a movie from the 80s.
Akira was one of my favorite movies of all time.
Akira still is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Tetsuo is one of my next tattoos, for sure.
Tetsuo Kaneda!
Tetsuo's my shit. Tetsuo's my shit, man. And I identify with that rage of so well.
Against the Machine? Yeah.
Dude, there it is right there. That is a transhumanist movie. And I still have to buy the last 3 volumes of the fucking of the graphic novel manga because it's fucking amazing. And yeah, but anyway,
that's such a fucking nerd, Chris.
Yeah, I have the first 3. I need to get the last 3.
Icky.
But yeah, that's so AI is an inevitability. AI is the super intelligence.
That movie already came out like years ago. Of course, it's
inevitability.
It was okay. It wasn't great, but Steven Spielberg at his least.
Everybody, people as fucking. I didn't really like it. I don't like that Haley kid.
That Haley kid. He.
And nowadays he's fucking round as hell.
Ooh, is he ever?
Goofy looking.
Oof.
Here we go, boys and girls slandering celebrities corner.
Hey man, you can call the dude round. That's fine. Osborne or Osment? Is it
Osmond? I don't
Haley
know. Fuck him. I don't know what his name is. It doesn't matter. Roly-poly.
Is that the one that saw dead people, or is that a different one?
Yeah, no, that's him. Yeah, the Roly-poly from Sixth Sense. Yeah, let's say that.
Poor fat kid.
M. Night Shyamalan's fucking Bubbles.
Oh man, the Wahlberg in that movie. Love him.
Oh man,
Donnie
we
looking
needed some
good.
comedy to spice it up a little bit.
Donnie looking good.
Yeah, Donnie, man, Donnie's doing big right now. He made really well for himself as the only new kid on the block or old kid from the block now that really has done anything with himself.
Yep, the rest are toothless crack whores.
Well, they probably date toothless crack whores.
Sure,
quote
unquote date.
Yeah, that's the title they gave it at the time.
Okay, so we were talking about AI, which is technically artificial intelligence, which is HAL 9000, which is evil machines waiting to murder us all.
Baby.
See, I don't see some wonderful, peaceful, beautiful robot that loves butterflies and the Three Stooges and is just like, free hand jobs for everybody all day, every day. I see the malevolent HAL fucking 9000. I see him singing Daisy while he wants to stab me in the throat.
Well, that's what most people see. That is what most
Stephen
people
Hawking
see, and
sees.
That's where the controversy is in it. But then now the question is, let's go back into the animal thing. The question is that just part of our survival instinct brain thinking that everything's going to attack us and always worried that everything's going to attack us? You know what I mean? Or is it possible that when we achieve AI, that we find a way, or we achieve merging with AI, and then it just opens up tons and tons and fucking infinite doors.
Dude, I think it's more the smartest of humanity knowing that you can never trust humanity to make a consciousness that will not destroy humanity.
And that's it. There it is. Exactly. That's why we can't fucking trust each other.
Exactly.
That's why I believe super intelligence needs to be one of the first steps to getting us to the point of being more intelligent enough to realize that shit is fucking unnecessary, barbaric ridiculousness.
If we stop living
everyone
like
can
the
benefit
on-the-go,
so much more.
If we stop living like the competitive fucking on-the-go Japanese and more like the siesta-having Mexicans, then...
Or the fucking Swiss, who are fucking... is it the Swiss or the Swedes? I don't remember, but one of those two.
Aren't the Swedes the Swiss?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I
no,
told you, I'm geographically retarded. I don't know.
Switzerland, which is...
Switzerland and Sweden, right?
Sweden, and then there's Norway, and then there's Finland.
No, well, the Norse are Norway.
Yeah, those guys are dicks. Eat a dick, Norway.
They got some cool clubs out there.
They got those goddamn black metal fuckers that burn churches and limp-wristedly stab their friends. No, it's more like, yeah!
Oh, yeah. Fucking
oh, wow, man. The waveform of that was actually pretty cool looking.
So then should it be super intelligence that gets us over that, or super well-being in the possibility of science and technology improving our psychological...
Well, see,
but still, that goes into genetic fucking manipulation of putting out the perfect human.
But there's the conundrum, though. There's the conundrum. We can't have super intelligence without super well-being first, because without super well-being, we would always be fighting for the competitive edge with super intelligence. But we can't technically have super well-being without the super intelligence to provide for it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have to pay out the fucking ass for our super well-being in order to then transcend into the truly super intelligent.
So we're gonna have to leap from plateau to plateau. In this ability tree, we're gonna have to put one skill point strategically in each ability to make sure they stay on point and current with each other.
Exactly.
Not push too far ahead of each other, or we're going to run into problems like AI fucking slaying us and taking over our planet and eventually the galaxy type of shit.
Absolutely. It's not like when you play Civ and like you can put everything into science and you can fucking win by going to the moon in a few years.
Yeah, no. This is not like that. No, not at all. It's more like fucking what you call it? No, I mean, I guess fuck, what is that game? Elder Scrolls, the newest.
Sure, Skyrim. Skyrim,
yeah. Yeah, but you can put tons of points and be like the greatest alchemic manipulator, and granted you can, I don't know what the fuck they do. You can never die because you're creating potions that always heal you or whatever, but you're still an asshole that can be beaten to shit by somebody who's super fucking strong.
Like some squirrels can just jump on you and just like beat you to shit, and yeah, you can come back from it. But
you can be a pile of mush that never dies now.
Exactly. And what kind of life is that? What kind of life are you leading?
But that's the problem. There's tons of paradoxes, and I understand that. But I also believe that if we strategically stay jumping from plateau to plateau and keep everything as even and answering each other's questions back and forth as possible, we can answer the questions early enough to avoid the problems that we all foresee. You know what I mean? And maybe if just like when you fuck with your car and you change one part and that puts more stress on another part that was old and ready to go too. But yeah, that might happen. And that's another one of the things that comes along with jumping from plateau to plateau, is that you're also jumping from problem to problem, not just question to question and solution to solution.
And it can't always just be advancement. There has to be fallback. There has to be destruction of old things for new things to spring up in their place.
Or does it though? And maybe that destruction, that's the thing. Maybe once we get past our barbaric, animalistic nature of always wanting to be king shit of the fucking world and not just understanding advancement for the blessing that it is, for lack of a better word, trust me, for lack of better words, I use the word blessing. Mm-hmm. So that, I lost track all of a sudden.
Okay, to get past our animalistic urges.
Yeah, well, I think I feel like something that like that's our first major barrier. That's our first major roadblock. And I guarantee, just like it, your healing gets worse before it gets better and all that kind of shit, I guarantee it's going to be fucked up in the beginning.
Well, yeah, because
we were talking about cybernetics.
We have to have a complete and utter teardown of machismo.
Fucking exactly. Lord Shiva comes in and fucking burns everything to the ground so it can build anew. It can fertilize the soil to build anew. I'm trying to use whatever goddamn relatable,
So you use the super relatable analogy of Lord Shiva.
Of Hinduism, yes.
Yes, because super relatable.
Hey, Hinduism is one of the world's top fucking religions. That's highly relatable.
Are you or I Hindu?
No.
Are we Hindi?
None of our listeners are probably Hindu either. But who knows? Who knows?
Maybe
Hindi.
after this, huh?
I don't know. You never know. Yeah.
Let's just say
I would invite Hindi or Hindu practicing listeners.
Let's put it more in an American sense, okay? So let's just say that the killer clowns from outer space come down and they kill all of the asshole jocks in college. That way, the next generation is clean and pure, and their minds are set.
So they're fucking or in the shower or drunk.
Dude,
wandering.
I don't know. I mean, this just reminded me for some reason of the carnival scene from Revenge of the Nerds. That nerd raped that poor girl.
He totally did. He
had a fucking mask on. He was acting like he was her boyfriend. No. That is non-consensual sex. That is not okay.
Was it though?
Yes.
Was it?
She thought she was fucking her boyfriend, he was a douchebag, but she knew who he was. She goes in, it's some nerd in a mask, and then afterwards she's all like, oh, he was a nerd, I love him now. And fuck that shit, call the cops.
Let me make a point that I'm not trying to make light or laugh about rape, boys and girls. I'm making a point and laughing about the fact that in the 80s, they didn't put too much thought into the how their writing would be interpreted.
No, this was all good in the 80s.
This was all gravy. Oh yeah, she probably would have just shrugged that shit off, not even knowing that she had a hell of a lawsuit on her hands.
They started dating.
Because they went and got kisses and pies and fucking drank some beer with booger and shit.
And her naked picture was under all of the pies, which were just like whipped cream in a pan.
Fuck yeah, she didn't care about that either.
Kind of pie is that?
She did. She was kind of
she was a little upset about that, which rightfully so, man. That's also non-consensual.
Cool when Hairpiece walked up and showed his ass, and then she was like, "Oh, I like this nerd better. He had a bigger cock," or whatever the fuck she said. I don't know. Anyway,
No, wait, that was Little Orphan Annie.
Oh, fuck. The white one or the black one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, they didn't change it. I mean, they changed enough. But,
no, that was the Golden Girls.
I never saw that.
That was the one where B. Arthur went and she had naked pictures taken of her, and then she went to this carnival, and then the guy that was banging, what's her name, Rose, he was waiting in the bouncy house horror place for her. And
banging Rose?
Yeah.
I gotta be banging Blanche.
I thought you said you never saw it. Now you correcting me on Golden Girl names?
I never saw the new version of Annie. I've seen tons of Golden Girls.
Okay, well, hey.
I actually share a birthday with Betty White. So there.
Gross.
Mm-hmm.
You're both gross, and I wouldn't have sex with either of you.
Telling you what's happening.
So anyway, Chris.
Yes, sir.
I mean, did we do okay? Or should we have one more little Chatty Cathy talk about maybe the other two? Because we talked a lot about technology, and we did talk a lot about the well-being, but we didn't really hit on longevity.
Okay. Yeah.
And really, we didn't talk a whole lot about the well-being either. You know what? I think that we would be better served than trying to smush those two into the next 15 minutes, as if we really took our time and talked about them next time.
I mean, I'm fine with that. Like I said, this episode and the format was really just to get people's minds working and our own minds working and understanding and realizing the possibilities and, whatever. It's just, if they want us to do another episode touching on more shit, or another one like this. I'd love to just sit around and banter like this as well.
Absolutely.
I could do tons of episodes on each one of these fucking main topics.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I never even pointed out any of the scientists who are working on this, any of the fucking technologies we already have that are just getting better and better. We haven't even touched it. Like, we really never even talk. I don't know. Anyway,
just like
I love
babies,
the subject.
we're never
I
going
love
to touch
the subject.
it. Never going to touch it. Just like
exactly.
all the babies. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry. Thanks for reminding me of
no problem, man.
Changing my words about.
The email address is
see no, hear no, speak no pod at gmail.com. Care of
Eat a dick,
Cyborg Chris and Humanist Jason. Because he's not down with the cyborg movement.
I want to be a cyborg more than I want to be a real boy.
Oh, really? I thought who the fuck? I must be confusing a conversation about cyborgs that I had with somebody else.
Oh man,
then.
if I could
I
replace
totally want to be a cyborg.
if I could replace my broken ass body with fucking like super strong metal and shit, fuck yeah,
Dude.
man. Like I don't want to be like that episode of Futurama where Hermes like changes everything out but his brain. Like,
dude.
And becomes this big tank monster thing. Like, I still want me, but, dude, if you could, like, replace my bones with titanium and gears and fucking pistons and fucking hydraulics and shit like that, man, I'm ready. I'm goddamn ready.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
What if you remember? Okay, it's going to be a while before we talk about this, before we do episodes on this subject. But do you remember in the Roswell story how that piece of metal was recovered, and they did experiments on this metal that was as thin as aluminum foil, but and it could be crumpled easily, but when they let it go, it boing and popped right back out into its original shape.
Almost
it
like
couldn't
liquid
be burned.
properties. It was like it was a solid, but it
was like a fabric as well.
Absolutely, yes.
It couldn't be burned, it couldn't be stabbed, it couldn't be torn or cut. So what if that's the future of metal? As far as like, I mean, what if it, you're a prosthetic and you get your leg redone or your arm redone? What if it's that type of metal that's just fucking impervious, but it's not necessarily any stronger,
right?
Because it's metal than you are as a human, so you still feel excuse me.
So you wouldn't get like
excuse me.
So you wouldn't get superpowers or any kind of shit like that, but you
exactly.
would,
so
but you would
your
get,
animal brain wouldn't want to go around fucking beating people
right,
up.
but you wouldn't have to worry about
shit.
broken bones anymore.
Done.
I'm down.
What
I'm
if
okay
that's part of the fucking cyborg future?
I'm super okay with that. As long as I can have at least one laser eye, everything else is just icing.
I mean, think of the new breakdancing moves that could be done with that kind of thing. That kind of technology. I mean, see, science and technology never stops in any subject. The subject just hits a plateau for however many years. What if the new sword is fucking Final Fantasy gun sword? Fucking laser gun sword.
But
dude, because we understand that Japan and China have the right idea by keeping
mechs
that perfect
under wraps?
mix.
Yeah.
No, that perfect balance mix between their history and their fucking technology. You know what I mean? It all they honor it all, and it balances and it works for them. So what if our next fucking one of our next loops in weaponry is the laser gun sword and shit like that? I think that's pretty crude, but still.
I need mechs first. I need to see giant mechs fighting aliens in the sky overhead while I cheer with my giant eyes and
Dude, it's coming.
Yeah, no, I love it.
It's coming, and I think that's still super fucking crude. Like that's still just again a barbaric, animalistic war type of conquer,
that's
mindset.
Defense. We need defense.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Like I said, it's gonna get worse before it gets better for the species as a whole. And of course they're going to try to pull the whole time they're going to try to pull the wool over your eyes and let you just leak out little bits to keep you on board
and be like, everything's fine, everybody, everything's fine, Tinker Tape Parade, and like,
look, life is great, here's a new little trinket we throw you, and
here's the next iPhone.
Look, life is amazing. We're gonna lower gas prices for a couple weeks, and Christmas is around the corner. Fuck Christmas. Fuck all of you. Now, don't get me wrong. I love me some Christmas presents.
I was about to say, are you not getting me anything for Christmas, Chris?
Yeah, but that's not the point. I still haven't figured it out though.
Oh.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still sweet that you're thinking about it, though.
I'm thinking. My brain
All
is
right,
working.
so Chris, as far as I can summarize
what did you learn?
what we just talked about is that humanity is fucked before it can be saved.
Yeah.
But we have to hope that it doesn't become completely and utterly annihilatedly fucked, because then there is no savior.
Right.
But we have to tear down walls, Mr. Gorbachev, before we can become the USSR.
Damn right. I mean, if history hasn't proven this already, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. And all of this is just us on our own with no help, supposedly, quote unquote, no help from extraterrestrials, no contact with them or none of that shit. Let's just keep that veil pulled over our eyes when we talk about this subject for now, because if we enter with that possibility, then, I mean, god damn it, man, this shit just continues to get more and more huge and vast and unending.
We're calling you out, Jimmy Carter, you fucking peanut farming bitch.
Man, I want to hear that story from his lips in person.
You just want to see his lips in person.
Tell me what's up. I want to meet Eisenhower's granddaughter,
those
too.
Big, luscious Jimmy Carter lips just smacking away on some peanuts. He licks away the salt as he looks you deep in the eye and says, "Yes, Chris.
What?
I love
I
peanuts."
like Lipton iced tea. Like, for some reason, I picture him with Don Knotts' fucking voice.
Now I can't ever not do that again. That's beautiful. I love it.
That's what I'm seeing. So, So, what did you? I mean, but what did you learn? You learned that we gotta destroy before rebuilding, and that makes me want to do an episode on the plight of supervillains and where we stand. What type of supervillain are you, Jason?
I guess
I'm the purge kind.
I'm more of like an Idi Amin, I guess. I'm more of
I said supervillain.
Yeah, a ruthless dictator that slaughters his own people by the millions.
Oh.
Yeah. If that's not a supervillain, then Hitler's not my dad.
Oh, yeah, I guess. I guess.
Freud, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally the purge kind.
That's in the simplest terms, that's still forced violence.
It's super rude and barbaric and fucking animalistic dog shit. I agree, but that's why I fall into the same category as everybody else. I understand that right now I probably fit into that 85% of things that this planet could do just fine without.
I'm going to say that I think like twice a week I would send like a government official over to everyone's homes to tickle them for an hour. Yeah. I think we just need
government-issued marijuana and LSD and tickles. Huh?
We just need more smiles and laughter, Chris. That's really the answer. It's just more smiles and laughter, and that is the grassroots
super well-being, sir.
movement we have started right here today.
Yeah, I didn't even ask the main question of super well-being. Super well-being.
The person sitting next to you now. If they scream "stop" or "stop it, I'm going to pee on myself," just don't stop. You will break through. It's like the you pass through the runner's wall. It's called the tickle tissue. You break through that, and then it's like the best ice cream that you've ever had.
I mean, I know usually things like that happen spontaneously, but if you can set it up, a towel, so you can at least absorb some of the pee, that would probably help out the cleaning process.
And then put it in a box and send it to Chris.
Or Yusei Sagawa.
But you can't be a mom. You can no moms.
No moms.
No mama pee. He can tell. You can tell.
It tastes different, I'm sure.
Probably smells different. Probably looks different. It's probably spelled with an extra E.
Yeah. Fucking metric system. God damn it.
So anyway. Chris, I got one more thing to say. And it doesn't necessarily have to do exactly with the.
We didn't even talk about digital sex, man. God damn it! All right.
Well, you know, we have next week or Friday or where we're gonna work on it. It'll happen.
Yeah,
but you just listened to another riveting episode of See No, Hear No, Speak No. I'm Jason.
That one threw me off a little bit. I'm Chris, talking about the UFOs, conspiracies, and the fucking murders.
Yeah.
All up in your ear holes, you bunch of sluts.
Yeah! Ow. That one hurt.
You black metal. You're a punk. That shows. You don't fit with those people.
And I'm a little phlegmy right now, and it's just...
You're trying to run with that bad crowd. Those black metal punks.
Those itty-bitty little, like, 9-year-old skinny girl-looking guys with the hair, the beautiful, straight, conditioned hair down to their butts.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Don't get me wrong. Or do. I don't give a shit.
What's Norwegian food even like? I don't know. If anybody can answer me that question, what the hell is Norwegian food like? You could send us the email.
It's probably a lot of brined fish.
I want to hear it from the people, Jason. You're not Norwegian, nor have you ever been to
Norwegia.
Norway.
You're right.
Norwegia.
So, if you've ever had Norwegian food or are from Norway, if you're from Norway, fucking email us. And hey, everybody out there, give our Facebook group a little how do you do, and
thumbs up or something, yeah.
Oh, thumbs ups and follows, and we're not going to do this every episode. I'm addicted to them right now. So help my fix get to me.
That's right. He needs it. He loves it. He wants some more of it.
Gotta have it. Bye, everybody.
Go team, go. Bye, kids.
2 and trace.